Hello again. Now, the British government has announced a new scheme to help Ukrainians fleeing the war. The UN puts the number of displaced people now at more than 3 million at the moment. Let's look at this story and other developments from the UK with our correspondent in London, Olly Barrat. Olly, good afternoon. Thank you very much for joining us on this Friday afternoon here on ENCA. Now, this scheme for Brits to sponsor Ukrainians to come to Britain and take room, I understand, and take a room in their house. How's that going? Just shed some light on this.
Yeah, so the website, Dan, has just gone live today, but actually you've been able to register your interest for a number of days already. So as of last night, as the website turned online effectively, there were around 150,000 Brits already who had registered their interest, who wanted to offer a Ukrainian or more than one Ukrainians fleeing conflict in their country a room in their house or some other kind of support, but mostly a room in their house, somewhere to stay. And now what happens is that the website is live, is that those people who've registered an interest in doing so are linked up with named Ukrainians who are trying to leave their country, or indeed who have already left and who want somewhere to go. The website will link them up. It will help those people through the processes of linking up and then working out how it's all going to work here in the UK. And the idea is that those people can come to the UK, can stay here for a period of time, and will have support and services offered to them. For example, schooling for their children. And the UK government has said there's no upper limit on how many people can come to the UK under this scheme, but we understand that, for example, the Department for Education here in the UK has been working on the basis that it might need as many as 100,000 extra school places for school-aged children coming over from Ukraine. Normally it will be with their mothers. So there's been a huge interest from Britons who want to help out. There's been some criticism from some quarters, including opposition parties, that the website might not work very well, that the scheme has been overly complicated and slow in coming forward. But it is now live, and so we will see. We will see how it plays out.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Okay, now, I mean, linked to this as an aftermath, a direct result of this war, is the football club Chelsea, the London-based football club Chelsea, understanding that the bids need to be in by today's date, and for people who want to buy this from Roman Abramovich.
Yes, although of course they're not, in a sense, buying it from Roman Abramovich anymore, because the money won't go to him. His club has been frozen as an asset and he can't make any benefits from it anymore. And so what's happening is that the investment bankers in New York actually are taking bids today. They needed the bids to be in by today. They want to get this done as quickly as possible. They want people to be able to show that they have funding ready to go, and that is crucial, because as a frozen asset, Chelsea really will run out of money within weeks, months if not weeks, if they don't find a new buyer very soon indeed. There are a number of names that have been floating around, a couple of American billionaires, for example. There was a report of one Saudi media group being in the running, but by the end of today UK time we should have a sense of who really are the runners and riders, who has the money ready to go, and then it comes down to the people currently in charge of Chelsea Football Club, but also the Premier League and the government, then working out together who exactly is the best candidate to take the club forward. We think that Roman Abramovich wanted about £3 billion for Chelsea. We expect that the going rate might be a little bit less than that now because of everything that has unfolded. But as I say, by next week we should have a better sense of who the real shortlist is, because the club needs to get this done very, very quickly indeed to make sure it can get to the end of the season and beyond.
Yeah, we're going to have to watch and see who's going to win the bid. Thanks for that update. And another story that you've been watching for us is about the government. They're being under pressure to act against the P&O Ferries, who've sacked 800 workers without notice, while many were at sea, to replace them with cheaper agency staff.
An extraordinary story. We'd suddenly heard yesterday that P&O Ferries and ships were being told to return to port and stay there, and staff were told, some of them while they were at sea, that they were losing their jobs, that there was no notice, and it turned out that P&O were trying to replace them all with cheaper agency workers. The unions are furious, the workers are furious, the government says it wants to make sure that rules haven't been broken, but it's being urged to act and cancel any contracts that the government has with P&O and with DP World, which owns P&O as well. P&O, for its side of the story, says that it wouldn't be a viable business unless it made these changes, and so it's trying to survive in doing this. But there's been a huge public backlash. We're seeing people saying they're not going to travel on P&O ferries anymore. They're going to find alternative routes to Europe for personal journeys, but also for cargo bookings as well. It's been a huge storm here in the UK, and something that really no one seemed to see coming. Of course, companies sack people and fire people all the time. It was the way that this was handled that's caused such an uproar here in Britain.
Yeah, I mean, while you're at work at sea, you have no job. You're just told just like that. OK, finally, Olly, COVID-19. Let's talk about COVID-19. I see that all COVID-19 travel restrictions in the UK are gone from today. No more passenger locators forms will be required, and testing not required for unvaccinated arrivals. What a development.
Exactly. That was all that was left for international travel in terms of COVID-19 restrictions. That passenger locator form that everyone had to fill in coming into the country to say where you were going to spend the next 10 days or so, contact details required so that if there was a positive test you could be traced very easily. That's gone, as has testing. That was in place for people coming into the UK who were unvaccinated. That has now gone as well, and the UK government says it's the right time to do it, and it gives security and assistance to the beleaguered tourism industry as we head into the crucial Easter and then summer holiday periods. It is being done in the backdrop of cases actually rising here in the UK, but the view in government at the moment is that even if this latest variant of Omicron, BA2, does continue to tick up a little bit, it shouldn't feed through into major spikes in hospitalisations and deaths because of the large vaccine and previous infection immunity that there is here in this country. The government clearly feels this is the next step in what it calls living with COVID.
Thank you very much, Olly Barrat. Just to give us a sense of what's happening, a couple of those big stories out of the UK today. He's, of course, our correspondent in London. Thank you very much, Olly.